Hey guys, welcome back. This is the 28th lecture of our bootcamp series. In this lecture, we will create our first model. And in the last lecture, we learned what are models and how we can use them and why they are used. But in this video, we will try to create our first model. So, for creating a model in Rails, we can use Rails generator like this. Rails G or Rails generate model and then model name. So we already discussed in the next lecture that a model name must be in plural. Okay, and whenever you generate a model, you will also get a migration and other test files for it. So let's create our first model. Just to the terminal, open a new tab and use the generator. Rails new, sorry, not new. Rails G, or you can also use generate as well, like, okay, so raise generate or raise G will be same. So let's start with let's use the rails generate here. Rails generate model, and now model name is student. Okay, must be singular. Your model name must be singular, not plural. Okay, now hit the enter, and when you create this model, you will get some migration, and the model will get created at this file, this location, model. And here you can see the student.rb. Just as the syntax, it is inherited by application record, and it is the application record inherited by active record base. So a- application record just work like application controller here for all the models. Okay, now see what you have get already. So you can see that you get some test files and a model and a migration. Okay, this is the migration, create students.rb. Okay, the migration you will find in db migrate folder, and this is, but we haven't provided anything. Okay, so that's why our model is empty right now. Model is empty means we do not have any attribute in the model, but we need to provide some attribute here. So there are two possibilities that we can either provide them through command line, and we can either directly write here before running the migration, or later if we have run the migration empty and we want to add further attributes to it, then we can run another migration for adding those attributes. But we haven't added here. Did not forget that I intentionally I did not added attributes in the rail generate model command here. Why? Because I just wanted to show that the ways we can add attributes to the model. Now, since our model has been generated, then if you want to generate add attributes to this student model or a new model, then you can do this like student and let's say first name, last name, sorry, comma string. A string is not mandatory here. If you do not provide any type, then by default it will take a string. And if you have any other type than string, then you have to explicitly mention here. So you can perform it like this. So when you do this, you will get a migration which has already first name and last name as column. But we will not do this because we already generated a migration. So we will add all those attributes in this model, in this migration. So you can do it here it like e dot string first name, e dot string last name, e dot string email, email, sorry. Okay, now we have added attributes in it. Okay, and as we saw in the next last lecture that there are two possibilities for creating a controller, that we can either create a controller using command line or we can create a controller manually. But we must avoid creating active record models manually. Why? Because every active record model that we create must have a migration associated with that, and that migration will help you in maintaining the schema for that active record model. And when you generate the model, you will get a migration by default. Okay, and here if you can see at my screen, let's copy this and try to understand by here. If you can see this, then in the migration name I'm getting this number. Okay, so this number represents the timestamp or the uniqueness of that migration, and every migration must have a timestamp, and that timestamp is unique for all the migration. Here in migration, the first four digits for the year, the second next two for month, next two for date, and next two for hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, so this is the format of migration. So just because of this timestamp, we cannot create, or we must not create migration, model manually. Okay, we should always generate models from the Rails generator and through command line, because if we create it manually, then it would be hard to get the system generated timestamp, and this timestamp is based upon UTC time. Okay, so this is the UTC time right now, and whenever I have generated the model, this is the UTC time. So we need to avoid creating migration manually. Okay, now you can also see that this is the student model. Okay, and it is in plural form. Now we have migration that has create table for students. It means it will create a table in the plural form with its respective model. Now, let's run the migration. Rails DB migrate. Okay. Rails DB migrate is the task which is required for turning this student migration into a table. Okay, and also now you cannot, for now you are not seeing the schema.rb in my db directory. Once I run my first my if I have a migration in my application and I haven't run the rails db migrate, then I do cannot have that schema.rb. So for having schema.rb, you must have at least one migration, and you need to run that migration using rails db migrate command, and once you do that, you will have a schema.rb file. Now let's perform this rails db migrate. Okay, so you can see that as soon as I performed this task, it has this migration has been performed, and you can see it migrated. Now you can also see the schema.rb file here, and when you open this, you can see that this schema.rb file has a table that name is students, and it has three attributes: first name, last name, email. Created it, updated it. Updated and created it are the default fields which came from this attribute, that is t.timestamps. Okay, and that is whenever you generate a model in rails, that are always coming, though these are optional. These are not mandatory to keep these fields. You can, if you wish, you can remove that as well, but for tracking, like when a record has been created and when a record has been updated, we might need these fields in future, or these fields are might be helpful, so we just keep them always. So here you can see date, time, and created it and updated it. Created it is the attribute which gets update, or which has its value only first time whenever you save a new record or whenever you create a new active record. And updated it can be changed over the time whenever you update the active record. Okay, like if you update name, then it will get updated, but created it will get its value only first time when you create the record or when you save the record first time. Okay, so this is the model. So what we have learned in this video, that how to generate model, okay, using race generator, and how to create students, sorry, how to create a table, and how to provide attributes in the table, okay. And in the next upcoming lectures we will see that how to write migrations for adding more values into the table. And because these three fields for the student table will not be enough, so we will learn that in upcoming lectures, and when we generate or when we modify the student's schema using migration. So there are a lot of things to coming to learn for this in this perspective. And here in this model I can also write some validations and callbacks, but for now I'm skipping that, because we will write those validations once we have our resource form ready, and once we have our seed file ready to populate the data. Now, based upon this lecture, it's time for questions. Okay. So the first question is, what are model in Rails? So Rails models are known as active record and responsible for managing the persistent storage of business data and logic. How models are created in Rails? So we can create active record models using Rails generator. Okay. Why active record models are created using generators only? We already seen the reason, because whenever we generate an active record model, there is a migration associated with it, and every migration has a unique timestamp, and that timestamp has year, month, day, hours, minutes, and seconds. If we manually create that, then it is hard to provide a valid timestamp or an accurate machine dependent timestamp. So that's why we always create active record models using generators. Is it required for all the models to have migration? It does not require, because someone can see that we can create a migrate class, Ruby class in migration for a models folder. Then if we are not providing a table for it, so it is not required for all the classes mentioned in the model folder to create a migration. And it is also possible that you have an active record model and you deleted the migration for schema for that, or you don't need table for that. That is okay, but usually we do that whenever we create an active record model, we need the scheme migration for that. Why? Because active record models have support callbacks and validations, and if we do not have migration or the table for that active record, then how you will validate that active record and call per support callback for that active record model? So usually we should have migration for all the active record models. Yeah, but it is true that all the classes defined in the models directory does not require a model class. Okay. Now, when you cannot instantiate a model class, we just forget this. So let's come to that point. Here you can see student equal to application record, sorry, inherited by application record, and the application record itself inherited by active record base. But you can see a difference between both application record and student model here. That student model is empty, but application record has self dot abstract class equal to true. And whenever a class has set abstract class true, then you cannot instantiate that. Okay. So whenever your Ruby class or model, whatever it is an abstract class, then you cannot instantiate, because conceptually and as its principle, abstract class cannot be instantiated. They can only be inherited by that child models to be used. Okay. So if right now you can see that application record is inherited by active record base, so whatever the operations and methods and standards are defined in the active record base library, you can use them via application record. Okay. So This is the answer of the question. Whenever a model has defined self.abstract class true, then it cannot be instantiated. Okay, and if it is not, it has not defined self.abstract class true, then it can be instantiated always. And just keep in mind that an abstract class can be inherited only, not instantiated. So that's all from this video. And in the next video we will create our first controller, a resource controller. And till then, thanks for watching this. Tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.